Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a great day. Let me just share this real quick with everyone in our community. So yeah, we had a massive breakthrough, effectively, over the past couple of days in these live streams. And now we're in a situation where we just got to clean up what we did, and that's what we're going to do. So yeah. Hope everyone's great. Let me get the chat open. It's never usually open immediately. Let's see. Let's get that open. There we go. Okay, so we've got the chat. Change to a live chat. And okay, great. So a couple of things. The padding. I fixed the graphics corruption, where you just had a bunch of junk rendered to the screen yesterday. That was yesterday or today. Either one. We have a totally, as far as I can tell, everything's behaving properly. It even runs on Linux, and I tested that earlier. Build's completely fine. Nothing's gone wrong. So today we're going to be kind of returning back to what these streams originally were not designed for, but what I originally started doing. And that's just cleaning up some code. There's a bunch of leftover stuff. There's a potential way to get rid of a descriptor set, so that's going to be nice in our core shaders, this one in particular. So I want to make sure that that we have access to the buffer device addresses. We're also going to test the physically based rendering based on what we've already done. Hi Kalia, how you doing, dude? So yeah, we're gonna make sure this works still. Make sure we still have a thing that makes sense. Yeah, so it's gonna be a bit of a chilled out version of the stream, I guess, and that's fine. Yeah, it's, you know, it doesn't have to be all super detailed, crunchy optimization streams. So yeah, we're gonna be digging through, removing stuff that I'm not gonna use. Trying to reduce the code base so I make less mistakes in the future. I think after that, if we get too far where there's not really much to do, it's either try to fix the skybox, which I've been neglecting, or add a player to the game, which I haven't done. Those are the two things I wanted to fix. We don't need that anymore. Sorry, those are the two things I wanted to add until I saw my frame rate was below 15 frames per second. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking, dude. I'm a little tired for some reason. I think I need to go. Yeah, I think tonight is going to be a bit of an early night. But yeah, we'll keep up the vibes the whole way until we drop off. I always forget to do this, so we're going to quickly throw on the timer because I keep forgetting to put that on. To do that retroactively. Yeah, so let's see. The first thing I want to check is the global illumination when. Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of that recently. It's like, what do I do next? What do I add? When do I add it? I've got to make sure that I do a lot of work that's relevant to the game. You work every day. It's normal to be tired. Thank you. I think the reason I'm a bit tired is because I went crazy in the gym trying to beat my time on a 5K. So I got to 22 minutes. I want to get a sub 20. It's only my second run, so I'll get it down. No problem. Yeah, it's yeah. I try to preach. You know, when I say be consistent or whatever, I'm trying to preach that as and live it. So here we are with the renderer all stable. I put the IM GUI back. Yeah, I'm going. Although this is slow and not really that accurate, we are definitely above 15 frames per second. The movement is possibly smooth, and this is in debug, so this is a lot slower than release, as you would imagine. So yeah, we're back. And also, if people weren't here, the renderer is now stable. We found the stability issue, and the stability issue, what was that? That was to do with the buffer device address we were writing over when we were indexing through the instances. We were out of bounds. So because of that, we had an out of bounds issue every single time we indexed through an instance. So sometimes it would be completely chill, these spheres. Other times it would be completely going crazy. So yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I recommend exercise to to people if you don't do it. MSVC debug seems to be way slower than other compilers for some reason. Then again, my debug build is release plus debugging. Ah, right, you do release plus debugging for. Yeah, it is significantly slower. It's about a. So I reported that I could get my. I could get my renderer to render at, assuming I disable everything and go and release. On Windows, this is running at 0.19 milliseconds, so 190 nanoseconds, which is fast. But as you probably, to the people in the chat who are graphics programmers and are familiar with this, the scene is actually very basic, right? There's no lighting, there's nothing really that complicated being rendered. If it's instance rendered, then yeah, this makes sense for the amount of time that we're spending. We're not doing anything complicated, which makes sense, right? That's why we're so fast. It's not that we're doing anything in particularly, we're not doing anything particularly good. We're not even culling, so yeah, we're actually rendering these 4,000 rocks. So yeah, but that's fine. I just needed a good baseline to return to. As you can see, it's even slow. It's even it's reporting 0.42, which yeah, I don't actually know what it would report with in release. But yeah. Hi, Madhu. Hope you're having a great day, dude. We're just going to be doing some cleanup. Right, okay, so you do actual release has LTO enabled. What's LTO? Is that link time optimization or something? No, optimization would spelled with an A. I don't know what that means. So I was doing it 3 years ago, exercise. Did 2 years, was intensive. We're strong and dynamic because my exercises were mostly based on cardio. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's good for you, 100%. I'm just really good at running, so I'm just going to start doing that again. I've been weightlifting for 3 years and I kind of got sick of it. But anyway, let's do what we came here to do. So the first thing I want to try and do is get the buffer device address is on the fragment shader and see if we can. So let's do the first thing. Let's bring back the BRDF implementation, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to look like. Interesting. It's an interesting effect, but it's not correct. So it is getting smaller as it gets further away. I don't even know what would cause this. Let me think. So this is not correct. So this is what we might end up doing for the whole stream. So just for people who are aware, the debug geometry is not affected by lighting. So that's by design though. Otherwise it'll just be slow for no reason. Is this how I want to... I wonder if it's the... Is this correct? Let me think. So the physically based rendering, I think its radius is huge. Let me turn down the radius because I think it's causing some issues here, right? And I think the intensity is really high, so it's hard to tell. When the intensity gets really high, my implementation of physically based rendering kind of breaks down. Like it gets too dark and white and light in areas, and you end up this kind of like black and white look, which yeah, it doesn't really match like the textures or anything. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do is just reduce the radius. Link time optimization. Oh, okay, yeah, brilliant. I think I've heard of that before. Not great with work. I want to quit. Start game dev. Yeah, it's a tough one when you're passionate about something else and you're dragged back into the world of work. Anyway, so let's reduce the radius. Where is that? At the very least, our BRDF doesn't have a big if statement. The if statements are only for textures that may or may not be there. Radius, intensity, light range. Okay, here we are. So the light range is usually something around. So for point lights, for me anyway, I find that something like 15 and 20 or 10, like a small point light looks okay in my implementation. So we're going to see a lot of black, but I just want to see if the lighting is still accurate based on that. Did it? It looks the same, to be honest. It looks the same. Let's keep going. Changing variables and see what happens. So the range seemed to not change at all. So let's go to 5, and that should be really small. You can optimize link time that you can't do at compile time. Interesting. This looks correct for a point light with a large radius. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to reduce the radius. Ah, there we go. Nope. I think my radius is being ignored. Or the scene is shrank. Okay, so it's entirely possible here that we've got like tiny little rocks. So it's hard to say. Let's increase the size of the rocks. They are being scaled down by 100 times, but that's because the rocks are usually way too big. Everything is too big in the scene. Like the camera moves really slow. Everything's like really far away. Where is the scale, model scale? I might also try and get rid of these as well. These buffer device address. I think I edited them in a previous stream, and then basically I didn't quite fix it, and so I had to git stash to get back to where I was because things got worse and worse. But now we're past that, so we can reliably delete stuff that we don't want or need to care about, which is nice. Model scale. I'll just go to the scale calculation. Yeah, this is all so I can kick off the next part of this cycle of game development. So where are you? Okay, there it is. So it's actually small on it. So it's not 100 times, it's only 10 times. So if I bring it back to 1, I think that's too much. That's going to be like 10x. But I want to see the lighting kind of interact normally. Right. So. Oh. Okay. Right. Makes sense. So if I put this back at, so I get the fragment shader and let's just say order of magnitude it like I used to. So there's a rock there. It's actually really handy having a debug renderer for things other than physics for this type of thing. So I get to see where everything is. Where is... I also might change the view projection right now for this particular type of game. Why is everything black? Oh, did I just change the intensity, not the radius? Okay, so looks correct. The point lights. I was going to say it. And that's what... and that's because you're not doing HDR, high dynamic range. Cool. To sell a real intensity light, you need HDR rendering pipelines and good bloom. That makes sense, I guess. For bloom, HDR is just about color, right? You don't blow out things because you're not blowing out the color values. So you've got more values to deal with. Yeah, for those effects, I'm going to introduce them. Not when necessary, but basically further into the game's lifespan. I want to see. I know it seems funny, but I could do that. But what I really need to see is if is the game even good? You know, it's like fun to play at all. Okay, so like. Right, what I'm going to do then is change that position, which is this. It's also possible that I've broken the... But yeah, thanks for filling me in, by the way. That's actually quite useful to know about what you just said, about how to sell the lighting and that. Now, I'm just going to make sure my matrices are multiplied. Yeah, they're not. Okay. So that would make sense. The position is not actually accurate anymore. I've got to be careful because this multiplication doesn't affect anything other than scale. And if they're the wrong way round, I basically take a scaled model, and multiply it by the position, then the vertices. Which I don't think is accurate. I want to keep the scale right to the end because I want to do it once, basically. I think we're going to get a completely different results, lighting-wise, based on the L and R values. Let's see. Yeah, so the lighting's actually really small now. Okay, let's scale down the models and try and get everything back to kind of a normal. You don't need to display in HDR. No, I don't think I would do that. Sorry, I'll read the top message. How do you have squiggly red lines? And is it still working? How do I have squiggly red lines? Where's the red lines that you see? In the scene, is it the red? What I think you might be looking at is the intersection between the debug geometry and the, what is it called, the asteroid model, like these things. That's just because the sphere doesn't 100% match up with this actual asteroid. You get like an intersection. Okay, that actually fixes it. That's correct. So the model and the position are now scaled accordingly, so it's not as intense, if that makes sense. So the intensity is like scaled back quite a bit. So that was the problem. We had like too much stuff going on. How do you have separate squiggly lines? No, I meant in... Oh! Right. Sorry, I didn't understand what you meant. These are... So this is an extension that just... Also, I really care about is syntax highlighting. This extension does not understand, one, Vulkan-based shaders, and two, a lot of the extensions that have been added over time. So that's why we're getting like IntelliSense. Well, the extension telling me that I'm doing everything wrong. Yeah, it doesn't understand like what scalar means and a bunch of other stuff. So it doesn't understand how to define a buffer device address, all that kind of stuff. So you don't display in HDR. You can tone map it down to standard dynamic range at the end. Yes, that's what I would probably do if I, this is what every game since Half-Life has done, back when high dynamic range displays didn't exist. Yeah, I'm probably going to do that. Yeah, 100%. I need to learn a lot more. It's been interesting streaming. I'll just hop on this for a minute, but it's been really good actually. It's one of the things I've been really appreciate is people giving me like you just said, they're actually like advice like that, and it's given me like an insight to my actual skill level relative to everyone else, because I had no idea honestly. And yeah, all I have to say on that is I have a lot to learn. Yes, even though I'm not a type of guy that I would often underestimate my ability in things. But I think even when I decided to, what was it? Take my ability and consider lowballing it. Like, oh, I shouldn't think myself that good. I'll lowball it. I think even that was too high. Like, there's so much stuff that I do not understand / know. So yeah, we're going to be trying our best to keep progressing, which is good, I guess, because there's lots of rooms for improvement. So improvement comes a bit easier in that situation. Anyway, right, what do I want to do? I want to get rid of these things. Because these are just gonna spiral out of control if I don't use the actual VMA version. So where's that used? Okay. So the mem copy is pretty straightforward when you use the VMA method. This is the cleanup. I want to kind of get rid of some of these if I can, like using buffer device addresses and stuff. The only downside is you have to access the buffer from the buffer's ID to get this thing. Which I've just commented out, so I can't remember what it is. Skybox uniform buffer, cool. And the more, and the more you learn, the more you know that there is a lot you don't know. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll continuously assume I know nothing, but it's been eye-opening, to be honest. Because there are levels to this. I'm definitely nowhere near the top at all. Skybox uniform. So yeah, this is what we're going to be doing. Lots of little things. Problem is that I think that might be literally what it's called. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Skybox uniform. Let's go skybox uniform data buffer. I think that's appropriate. And then we can go GPU.access buffer. Oops. Throw that in there. And then pretty straightforward, we take the VMA. That's what we're after really, the actual allocator for that particular buffer. We update the data. And do this. And yep, don't have to worry about this anymore. There's no if statements. So there is a little bit of reinterpret casting from a resource pool, but that's fine. It's not particularly difficult for it to reach out. Okay, so done that one. Oh, and we need to get rid of... Oh, yep, no problem. Let's, yeah, always, if the music's too loud, just let me know and I can always turn it down. Thank you for letting me know. I'll keep it quite low for now. If that's good, let me know. Let me grab this. All I know is that I know nothing, James Bond. Exactly. Very good. Very good reference there. I know who you mean. So that's quite funny. Brilliant. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about the music levels. Yeah, because I can't hear my own music. And now it's stopped. It shouldn't be stopped for long now. Yeah. So let's get rid of the next one. This one is quite straightforward, I think. Now, interestingly, do we even use this? No, we need this for the fragment shader, but this is the one I'm going to try and hopefully get rid of. Because we have all this data in the buffer device address, so... one step at a time, though. I don't want to just rip it out. I want to go a bit slower. Because I've been bitten by that quite a lot, so that's scene buffer. I've got to remember that. Let's take the pattern and move this here. Get rid of this. Ooh, actually, okay, I did do that right. Okay, so uniform buffer. I just realized I've got to be careful uploading the data. I think I also might try and do this for the skybox as well, just to try and get rid of a lot of these descriptor sets. The materials are a bit different though. That's going to be a bit harder to get rid of. But I think if we get rid of one descriptor set for all graphics pipelines, that's going to be a W. So skybox uniform buffer data, we want the... Oh, and I want to just do this once. I've been doing this over and over again in different places. This is kind of stupid. I'm not exactly sure how expensive that is, but the scale should be calculated once for every single thing. So, and technically it can be updated every single at runtime. Well, I don't know how useful that is, to be honest, but that's the reason why I haven't removed it. So I'll just stick it here, I guess, with a matte force. But at least, yeah, because I might get rid of this completely eventually. So yeah, let's go with this. And any other instance of this. Yeah, because it's just wasteful doing it more than once. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we have this. We want to grab the buffer from this, which is the scene buffer. Okay. Yeah, mild distraction there. But this is the... If I can get rid of this, this will be good. Because it just makes the render loop smaller as well. Which means less mistakes. So, scene data buffer equals GPU dot access buffer. And we want that allocator. This is a uniform thingy. Cool, that should be good. I've done everything right. I don't think I've even tested this. So let's run a... Let's compile. See how we're doing. Uniform... Oh, redefinition. Where's the other one? I think... I don't know how good... I think we tested this earlier. This is fine, I think. Because we're passing over a piece of data. Yeah. So the light's still there. Ooh. Sort of. No, okay, it's not. It's not fine. So let's just for now put this as 1. Yeah, that it didn't like what I did then. Where is this? Ah, right. That's probably why it didn't work. I'm putting the wrong data in. Gadori. Right, okay. So that's probably fine. Alright, no flashing. Yeah, that's just a copy and paste bug there. And if I turn on this, just make sure there's no flash. Well, there'll be way more obvious if it's flashing, because we can see it all. I just wonder how much slower the... Right, so if I turn off debug rendering, how much... Right, now I'm actually doing physically based rendering. Okay, so it's only, according to this, about 1.8 milliseconds slower because of our physically based rendering point light. I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest, considering we have no lighting before, where we're just painting colors. I think that's good. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. Actually, I'm just going to say it's just is. Okay, so finally, let's get rid of this thing. Okay, so let's not forget the buffer this time. Let's just keep doing. Right, so buffer. It is no data. Yo, Shadow, how you doing? Yeah, don't trust my profiler. It's just a eyeball. It's doing slower. It's doing something slower. Before, what we were doing, Ratchet, just so you're aware, we weren't doing anything in the fragment shader other than just pasting the straight colors from the models. Yes, I did, and now we're cleaning up stuff. So that's a success. Which is nice. So I'll show you after, once I've done this bit of work, and you'll be able to see it in its full glory. Okay, data size. Okay, just get rid of this mem copy and get rid of this if statement. Yo, W indeed. I do all my lighting in 1 millisecond, and I have a weaker GPU. What's your GPU? Out of curiosity. So yeah, this was, what was it? It was let's just run it again. Oh, hang on, I've got to delete this. We're not mapping anything anymore. And I'll just check my profiler real quick. It's not like a big major. I'm only testing this so when I change something, it doesn't break in a super obvious way. So it was, yeah, 0.6. So 0.67 minus 0.49. So yeah, 0.18 milliseconds is the speed. So yeah, sorry Ratchet. Sorry Shadow. This is what things should be looking like. Bit more space like now. Everything's stabilized. Everything's running really quickly. Yeah. It's not that my physically based rendering is. I mean, we can let's do some actual profiling, I guess, on Intel Mon, which is a little less. So let's render this at the like how it would be for a gamer. I know Intel Mon isn't necessarily the best thing, but it's because I've got an Intel CPU. It's a little bit more reliable than my profiler. So yeah, let's just quickly disable everything, go to release, all that kind of stuff. You've seen this before, and we'll have a look what the actual difference is between the two. You got to also remember, Ratchet, that I have 1 point lights. You know, it's not like I have lots of physically based rendering fragments to do. Right, so that's done, and log. So it's going to say we're going to be running like 5,000 frames per second, I think. Oh no, it won't because we're streaming, so it's going to be a bit slower. So Intel Mon does have milliseconds, and the other thing I need to be careful of, which I kept leaving in last time, was the actual profiler. I need to turn that off. Let's turn off IMGUI as well, I guess, because the user won't have that, so that won't be slowing us down. Where is the rest? Here. IMGUI. Just gonna make sure, yep, it's completely not in the frame. Alright, so change to release. So this is what like a user would get. And we'll compare we'll do the fragment shader code first and the non-fragment shader code afterwards. Sorry, the non-physically based rendering. I want to know, how did you get over the frame rate problem? I think you should make variable settings for debug. That would... I don't know if that's a good idea. I think it's fine for now, honestly. It's I just need to remember to turn them off. How did I do that? Lots of different things. I had to stabilize the frame. Add padding in. So I stabilized the frame with the semaphores and the pipeline barriers. They were wrong. A dynamic rendering was wrong. The semaphores were wrong. My buffer device address didn't allocate enough memory. I got rid of the VKQ wait QA idle, which was slowing things down by 0.23 milliseconds. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so a lot of different things that we did over the multiple streams, and you know, got and instance rendering. Yeah, that's the other thing. So, yeah, so it's gonna be, so if I turn off debug rendering, we are at. Oh, hang on, I have plugged in my laptop and I didn't plug it in at the wall. So we are. What? That's what we're looking at. This little number here. So when I'm not when it's just colors, it's at 5,000 FPS. So this is just more of a bit of a bike shed, but it's a bit of a fun moment. So I'll just remember that. And when I'm doing no lighting, where's the fragment shader? So no lighting. Oof. I should get rid of that, actually. It's a pointless calculation happening in the lighting. Okay, just for absolute yeah, I think that's correct. That's actually what it should be doing. And I doubt that's going to make any difference, but it was doing a pointless calculation per fragment. Yeah, seems to increase the frame rate, but I don't know. Anyway, so whatever, it was basically the same. And what I need to do to turn off lighting is this. Just do that. And now we have, yeah, they're punishing mistakes in half, yeah. Yeah, 0. So there's the 5,000 FPS. When there's no so minus 0.18. So apparently it's roughly around 0.04 milliseconds for this particular point light implementation of physically based rendering. And we're at like, what, 5,000? Yeah. Swings and roundabouts. If you have that much FPS, you're not really saturating the GPU anyway. Yeah, 100%. It's for me, it was more about getting the end sight to look. I think I have it in the Discord. Give me a minute. Like this. This was the point of that whole optimization. It was to remove that big long white. It was to remove this, right? That was the issue. That was scaling worse as I was adding more stuff to the game engine. This was getting like terrible, and it was slowing things down dramatically. Like, I would add something that would slow the engine down, but like it would make this not happening like even more extreme. So we would end up being like 1/8 of the frame was being taken up by the rendering, and then the rest was just like the CPU waiting. So yeah, 100%. There's not many effects. The graphics are really basic, admittedly, but that's by design at this point. We haven't added much. There's not many effects at all. So it's not like I'm making a claim that my game is running at that level of efficiency. I haven't done that level of optimizations. That the overwhelming reason why it's running at that many frames is because the graphics are so simple. But like I said before, we were running in debug mode at 15 frames per second, which was horrendous at that point. So that was the whole odyssey we went on, and why. So yeah, there's tons of stuff. Like a lot of that FPS or whatever is going to be eaten up by synchronization, overhead, and all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a bunch of like stuff that I don't care about that's being added into the frame. There's no real point of trying to optimize anything any further apart from doing stuff that makes sense, like, you know, culling and stuff like that, and avoiding silly things like this. Like, I don't need to do this every single fragment. Yeah, it was 52 ms, sorry, and now it's at 0.21 ms, which for our scene is better. Now we can actually start adding stuff, making the game do gamey things. I think I fixed the lighting. It's just, yeah, the lighting on the vertex shader was wrong, so everything was kind of weird. Okay. Yeah. Let's get rid of this. And let's bring back IMGUI. Yeah, again, just ignore my profiler. I'm only using that as like a eyeball, you know what I mean? Like, is it 10 times slower? I can look at the profiler quick and just check. You know, consider it as like a very rough tool. As you can see, the actual numbers are a lot smaller. Difference between the actual fragment shader and that one point light. Anyway, let's try and remove other things that I don't want. Okay, yeah, so the fragment shader is the next thing I want to do. Right, so when I'm actually creating the graphics when I'm actually creating the pipeline, this song's a banger. When I say great pipeline, am I saying the push constant is in every shader or just the vertex shader? Okay. It's going to be used in both fragment and vertex for now. Okay, so I can all these together based on the binary output. By the looks of things, I think. We could just do all graphics, but I don't know if there's a slowdown for that. Also, I really want to do is just say, yeah, we also using the fragment shader. Rough. Whoa. All right, I guess we're doing it this way. My mouse double clicked and made a mess. Yep, gonna make a game. I want to play the game that we played yesterday. Find the flickering rock. Yeah, I mean I can recreate it. Maybe I'll make some DLC. The find the flickering rock DLC. The game will be free, but the DLC will cost 60 quid. Right, let's just try and get. Let's try and get the push constants in there. Entity index. Copy all that. Do I even use this entity index thing? Yeah. Okay. And the problem is, if I'm pulling over the push constants, which has a bunch of stuff in it, then it won't know what this is. Huh. I mean, I could just throw it in, but do I want to do that? Do I not? How can I avoid this? Maybe I shouldn't do this and just pass over the data. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. Because I could probably just say location in eye and light or something for now. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That makes more sense to me. I don't see there's any big issue. Would I make an editor in the future? Shut up and take my money. Yeah, well, I've got a customer. I've thought about editors here and there. I think it makes sense to make an editor when I can't do what I want anymore. So it's possible that in the future I will. I think it's almost likely that I will, but it'll be basically part of the game engine. There'll basically be the game engine, and then you press a key and you're in editor mode where you can actually move stuff around. And then that'll save out and that'll stream out to disk. There won't be. I don't think I'll make a separate application that's just the editor. I may regret that, but that's the idea I'm thinking about at the moment when it comes to an editor itself. So load layouts. Hopefully there's no limit to these. 5 out. Vec 4 V I. And let's duplicate that, make it easier. Like there's only 32 layouts that I can have, and I'm just eating 2 for convenience. It's not too bad. I can't imagine we can't have less than 4. So all I want to do here is I equals I and effectively the same deal twice, but for light. Light. Right, okay, so now we've actually got to pass in the data seriously. Which we weren't before. We weren't actually doing this, so this is something I need to do. What is that song, by the way? The past one. That was... I think it was Iden. Nope. It was one of these. Solitary? Where was it? We were on Whirlwind. No, it was Whirlwind. Okay. Yeah, I'll post this. Yeah. The third Shinobi game. But I'll post that in chat. There you go. There you go. Enjoy. I'll play it again since we're here. If that's not the one you meant, let me know and I'll try again. Okay, so we need... What do we need to do? Got a bit distracted there. It is, thank you. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great song. The Shinobi franchise has a bunch of awesome tracks on the Mega Drive. Or the Genesis. If you want to be American. I wonder if they call it Genesis in Japan. I have no idea. Right. Yeah, so I need to write... That's what I was doing. I just remembered. Where do I actually write this data out there? Here. Okay, so... We want the same setup as the uniform data, which is... Yeah, okay, so these two. Very nice. So we get the eye and the light. And I think... Yeah, interestingly enough, the light should be updating with the camera. And it isn't. Now, what am I doing? I don't even know who this is for. Who's this for? See, okay, so this is actually what I want to remove. So I don't want to cut yet. I want to paste. Okay. It was Mega Drive in Japan too. Great. That's good to know. Yes. It's often a bit alienating when you yeah, it's not too bad to be honest. It's not like a big dramatic thing. But when I hear YouTubers talk about like old consoles, they always talk about it from the American perspective. Because obviously there's just more Americans, so especially when they talk about the Mega Drive, it's always Genesis. Genesis this, Genesis that. Thankfully, we've moved past the days of calling consoles a randomly different name in a different region. Because it is a bit odd. Okay, so the global data is now there. So I should, in theory, come through with valid data, which I wasn't using before. Pass that to the fragment shader. And the fragment shader now takes in the things, which are these guys. And now we just need to replace... Ah, wait a minute. This is done per vertex? I don't know if this is actually any good. Am I just like multiplying the amount of time that I end up sending things through? I think it might be actually. I don't think this is a good idea. I think this is going to slow things down. Based on the execution model of the vertex shader, it's per vertex. And it's going to be sending data per vertex. If I'm sending data over and over again per vertex, I'm treating eye and light like it's per vertex when it should be global. So I think I've gone in the wrong direction here. This is just a convenience thing. That's just a bad idea, I think. Yes, I should have thought of that before. Forgive me. Okay, so this does need to be in the fragment shader. Access in the same way. Yeah, this makes sense. The only problem is that we don't know what any of these are. And for now, I'm just going to treat this as I don't care, but I will care later. So, Yeah, I've got to be careful of the execution model. I don't think... It may not matter, but I don't want it to scale poorly, basically. I'm a bit paranoid of that now. So what I'm going to do is just make sure it works in exactly the same way as the fragment shader, vertex shader, and then remove stuff that I need to as we go. The amount of data you need to send over the fragment shader from the vertex shader does affect performance. Yeah. It changes how many threads in a warp can be executed once. Right, okay. That's good to know. Okay, so it's even worse than I thought then. We don't loop. Oh, no, we are looping. Randomly. Okay, that's good to know. I had a feeling that the execution models didn't match up, and I was like, wait a minute. This is here because it is per vertex. Right. So, yeah, this may not be the best way to do things, but for now we're just going to keep it simple and then remove stuff later. Because we're going to have, like, two buffer device addresses that I'm not going to use. Which isn't the best, but I don't care for now. Also need to remove the... Oh, wait, have I done that? Yeah, this. Get rid of this. And now in the... So every time we see I, we need to change that. And do we have the push constants? Is that at the bottom? Yep. Okay, so this... dot I... dot light... Is there any other instance of it? Oh, okay, that's really simple. Lights, though, might be used in two different places. Yep. Oh. Yeah, just, yeah, people might have to put up with me being a bit clumsy for now. Yeah, you really want to limit how much you send per vertex. That makes sense. Actually, my gbuffer vertex shader has terrible thread utilization law because it's sending over too much data. Interesting. Okay. Right. Okay. I'll try and remember that as like some like key performance thing that could go wrong. Thank you for letting me know. Right, so the push constant should be per fragment shader, which we did. And I did do something here that I want to remove. Oh yeah, the next thing is to delete the local constants for the main shader. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I am allowed to do this. Leave a binding is not like we have a spare binding. But yeah, I want to get rid of that. We're still going to have the descriptor set, but we've removed a buffer from the descriptor set, which is good. And speaking of, I need to make sure that it's not... I think we're good as long as I don't do anything with it at runtime. So there's the thing I want to... So uniform buffer data for the this thing I don't want anymore. So we can get rid of this. I'll get rid of all this. So the scene buffer is... I think the important thing we need to delete. So I'm just gonna put that in my copy and find for a minute and delete that because we don't want this anymore. I think, right? I'm just gonna make sure that it's not allocating more than once. Yeah, we don't want this because we're gonna try. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so the scene buffer's here. We're loading the model. What are you used for? It's part of the descriptor set. I don't think we need to care if it's not. Why is it here anyway? Yeah, binding 0, which is what that is. Now we only have binding 1. Which means this gets simplified quite significantly. I'm not passing in the scene buffer anymore. Which is quite nice actually. That reduces the API complexity. Get rid of this. Next. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Whoops. Press the wrong buttons. And we have a... It's complaining. GPU... Oh. I didn't quite get rid of everything. I need to get rid of here as well. And this. Which is nice. Less code, the better. Get rid of these two. Okay, so this would be lovely if this would work. Because descriptor sets are annoying. So then we only have a descriptor set which is tied to each material type draw call thing. So we still have a system where we have materials, but it's possible that in a model a bunch of things are not part of the same. So we have a model, sometimes the materials are used, sometimes they're not, and how it's designed, how it comes out anyway when I parse it, is that's like a different sub model, and that ends up being having a different draw call. Let's just check everything else. Okay, great. I think we've deleted that. We now need to make sure that when we access this data, okay, so it's already there, it's copied over, and it's done not inside a loop. Cool. Oh, you can see that data in Insight. That's interesting. The threading utilization. That's cool. Okay, let's just go over this. Right, I'm going to compile and just look for mistakes, basically. Yeah, that's what I thought. Line 11. Oh, interesting. I think what I'm going to do then is, because I'm not going to use this anyway, I'm not going to try and add extensions where they don't need it. So I think for now I can not use these at all. Again, I'll remove these if I can. I just want to see if it's possible to even to do what I'm doing very simply, and I don't think because we're accessing the data. The shader might complain. I have no idea. Let's see. One step at a time. Fragment shader 10. Yeah, okay. It needs something in here. By the looks of things. Float pad. Okay. Why aren't you tabbing? Okay. Let's try again. So we have buffer reference. Right. Okay, yeah, we do need the buffer reference extension, which makes sense. We need the scalar block layout and the buffer reference. And apart from that, I think we're good. Oh, we got scalar block. Don't need the rest. Okay, let's build that. I is not available, so we do have another I. I'll just actually go down to that, and we'll fix that shortly once I've got my push constants data that I need. Should scroll down to, what is it, line 182. 182. Huh. It's not called I. What is it called? Oh, it is called I. Let's try again. No? No field in struct. Have I got the wrong thing? Scene reference, which is the scene buffer. And that's this. This is this scene data, which is a struct and it's got I in it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just realized what I did wrong. Nothing that complicated. We have 2 layers of indirection here. I might actually get rid of one. This was me trying to solve an issue that wasn't actually the problem. So we also need to fix it for the light. Where's the light? Here it is. So that should fix the shader compilation issue. Yep. I don't know if we're going to get everything working, but I'm here for it. Let's see what breaks. Hopefully the validation layers make sense. The validation errors. Okay, yep, so that needs to be both, as far as I can tell. Push constants is pushing to vertex shader only, and it's used in the fragment shader too. So for this particular graphics pipeline, which is the scene, that's right, we want a fragment as well. Let's just make sure we get the right thing. This fella. Get that in there. So now we are doing both. I think that will fix that particular issue. There's probably more. Or it could be the same one and it needs to be all stage flag. Oh, right, okay, so I've got one push constant for everything and it needs to be pushed as well for another graphics pipeline. Even though the push constant isn't yet used in there, but that's fine. And that's further down, so yeah, for this guy. I don't know how much slower this will be. We'll see. We'll have an idea at least. If it's dramatically slower. Okay, cool. And let's get the lighting back. Very cool. And we'll look at our very crude. That does seem slower, but I can't remember. If I got a push constants for both. Sup, how you doing, dude? Yeah, what's your game about? It's going to be like a little space arcade game. No real performance difference from what I've seen. Cool, that's good to know. It's probably the profiler then. So yeah, it's we're just cleaning up some code after a big refactor the other day, after getting everything working. So we just the spheres are collision geometry, which I just turn off, and then it's going to be a bit arcadey. It's going to be small, so this game engine can actually do something. So yeah, thanks for joining us, dude. Isn't it a real pain to do it in C++ and Vulkan? I guess for this particular example, you could make this game in Unity / Unreal / Godot a lot faster, but it's not about this particular game that I want to make. It's like, this is just a proof of concept that the engine can actually do something. And I would say yes, if you wanted to make this particular game, yeah, there's no point in using your own game engine unless you want to do it for your own fun. And I guess potentially get performance over the other engines, because you can cut corners. But I doubt that's a good reason. Anyway, I think that, yeah, it would be tough to argue if you wanted to make this specific game. But I want to make more than just this game, and this is just a stepping stone. Okay, so what do I want to do after that? Very cool. I'm also building a game outside of any engine. Oh, that's cool. Brilliant. What's your game about then? Is it I don't know how far along you are with your game. Is it 2D? Is it 3D? And also thanks for the good luck. What am I doing? I'm trying to figure out what's to do next. Okay, let's look at our shaders. Oh, that was it. Let's try and remove the things I don't care about in my fragment shader. So I don't care about these. I don't care about this. I just want that. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it doesn't. Let me guess. It doesn't know what those are. But yeah, 137. The other thing I want to try is commenting them out. Right? Does it still know what to do? Oh, no. It looks like it's working, as far as I can tell. The push constants doesn't freak out. Cool. Right, so let's close that. We can remove a bunch of code then. Fantastic. I was a bit worried that we would have a bunch of code that we didn't care about floating around. Okay, C++ is a pleasure vein, yeah, so... okay, so imagine if you combined automation, survival, and exploration genres. Wow, that's a lot of genres. I'm rewriting the gameplay loop for the 3rd time. Maybe it'll be finally fun. Oh, that's, I feel like with all the engineering that I'm doing on stream and researching, I feel like that's the hardest thing of games of all. You can have the best game engine of all time and the coolest graphics, but is the game fun or not? Yeah, that's you can end up making a not fun game, regardless of how good the tech is. Yeah, hopefully you crack it and you get like a really fun game going. It does sound fun, the amount of genre clashing there. Okay, so we've done that, which is great. Now, what else can I do? I think for the broken skybox, I'm going to also try and get rid of this local constants. I hate this skybox. It's just been a pain in the neck ever since I started. Yeah, so it's got the same stuff in. Yeah, and it has the... Yeah, let's... What does it actually need? It needs the view projection. And the global matrix? No? Just the view projection. Okay. Uh-oh. Shh, that's the DLC you can't tell everyone, dude. You're spoiling it. No. Yeah, the flickering rock game is what we were trying to do yesterday when everything was broken. Okay, so we don't really care about this test color. Sorry, this is what we're trying to get rid of. So let's get rid of this completely from the skybox. And we should just have a... Okay, let's not delete literally everything. And let's try and do what we did for the fragment shader, exactly the same way. Now, there's no way to know if this is going to actually work, but what we're going to do is definitely reduce the amount of... what is it called? Mapping and unmapping. If we just also do a descriptor set push as well. based on values. Ugh. This song still makes me sad. Errors theme. Such a good theme though. We want to the push constants, we want to, what do we want to do? We want the buffer device address to passed over to the push constants, where do I do that? So for this particular guy, I'm curious, right? If I, oh, I'm already doing that. Fantastic. So I don't need to access the buffer multiple times. I can just do this at the beginning of the frame, almost copy it up. I need to copy it up. That's important. And so I can just move this up, so it's not just inside this scene. That it's actually here as well. I might, no. Maybe. I actually don't know, outside of any graphics pipeline, what this is going to do. But that would make a bit more sense. We have a uniform buffer updated here. But basically we just need the same setup, right? So put this here. Remove all this. This is so we don't translate anything. Oh, hang on. We actually have different data here, which is interesting. I think that's fine. How do we get around this? How do I do you think I should extend the games API into Java, into my Java games engine? Do you think I should extend the games API into my Java game engine and build games on top of it? That's what I've done. My game engine and the game are very basically the same thing. I know that people say that you should separate them too, just in case you want to have an editor, or maybe you want to have a DLL boundary or something, where you have like the game as a DLL and then that hooks into the application, like a small little application. But for me, I think it's fast. Personally, I don't know what's best, but personally, I think the philosophy I'm going with is the game should drive the technology that you end up implementing. Which means for me, if I'm going to make the game engine do that, then the game and the game engine are going to be very tightly coupled. In a way that's like not impossible to then rewrite another game, right? So if there's some like key functions that are like very specific to the game, like let's say laser cannons in this space game that are never going to be used in the next game, right? I'll put that in its own thing, but you know, allow the engine to mold around what the game needs to be. And that's just to help with, right, I'm going to put things back, basically iteration when it comes to programming stuff. So yeah, I would say yes, tentatively to that. But it depends on what you specifically need for your specific game/game engine. Maybe you already have a level editor, for example, and me saying yes would be a bad idea. But that's what I would do anyway. Right, so I have a different view projection matrix here. This is kind of... And if I have a different buffer device address that isn't global... I mean, I could do this in the shader, but that's like... Yeah, maybe I should... can you do that in the shader? I've never actually thought that. So what I'm thinking of is the view projection needs to not transform anything. So if it's in column major order, then the third column needs to basically be the identity matrix of this matrix 4. Now I'm wondering if you can actually access elements of a matrix in GLSL. Don't know. That's for noobs. Procedural generation. Ah, right, you got a procedural generation. Got it, yes. I think you'd be a much safer. I think it's much safer then. Got ya. You got the purling noise going on. Sick. I think you'd be much safer kind of rolling everything together. In my opinion. You can access elements in GLSL. Cool. I just need to know the syntax for that. And I assume it's subscript operators, but I'll just look it up. I was going to back out of that then, Cloudflare. Because obviously you can do that in matrices. Vectors, sorry. Okay, yep, there it is, subscript operator. And if you want to access individuals, then it's just... Okay, so is it column major or row major? That's a big difference. Column major, okay, cool. Which makes things a ton easier for me. So when this matrix, when this view projection comes in, I can just set the column majors to 0, 0, 0, 1, which is what I want, and that means everything's simplified. And I doubt that changing 4 variables in a vertex shade is going to completely destroy performance, so that would be extremely surprising to me. So let's move this to here. Just make sure I got everything. Yep, picked up everything, I believe. I want to put this about here, just before the pipelines. And then do the push constant stuff that we worked out earlier. Comment this out for now. To be deleted. Got ya. Make sure you do a local. Make sure to do that on a local variable, by the way. Oh yeah, because you can't change not varying input variables. You have to kind of copy that over. That's fine. I don't think that's too bad. I think that the GPU is very, very good at this type of stuff, I think. It's not like C++ where it has a bunch of stuff that we need to worry about. Okay, so the skybox. We don't need this either. And skybox uniform buffer. Interesting. Why is this here? It's here twice. Oh, interesting. I never got this right. Okay, so that's just a straight up mistake that I've made forever. Cool. Well, not cool, obviously, but it's a nice, easy fix. I've just been neglecting this skybox because it's annoyed me. Okay, so now we need the buffer device address from what we just made earlier. So we need the scene address is equal to... Oh. It's actually already done. Don't need to do that again. In fact... Yeah. Am I doing this twice? Yeah, I don't need to do this twice, I don't think. We could just leave this out, I believe, because it's the same push constants every single time. Yeah. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so we had it twice. This is why we do cleanups. I mean, you accidentally modify... I mean, you can accidentally modify the shader storage buffer. Ooh. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Yes, thanks for that, Ratchet. I probably would have done that and realized like everything's broken, and I don't know why. So yeah, I appreciate I appreciate the support there. Yeah, the secret reason I'm actually streaming, by the way, guys, is so I can get everyone else to do the work for me. So yeah, keep. So I'm gonna secretly. So if someone keeps helping me, yeah, just don't let them on, okay? You know. Okay, so we don't need this now. I'm gonna comment this out for now. View projection. We want the same setup as before. What are the fragment shader? Skybox. Okay, yeah, we use that too, I think. Oh, why do we? What? Global projection. Yeah, we're using none of this. I don't know why this is even here. Yeah, smart move. There we go. Cool. And yeah, I'll leave that for now because I just want to leave that for a minute. So now we just need the push constants. Actually from the debug renderer, because that's actually going to be more closer to actually what... No, where is it? Which one doesn't... Oh, it's the fragment shaders, duh. Yep. So this is what we want. Do we even want it in the fragment shader? I'm gonna I think every single... Yeah, I'm gonna put this here for now, even though it's not necessary, but the reason I'm putting this here is because every single graphics pipeline at the moment has this push constants in both. So I will delete it afterwards just to make sure that we can actually do this, but for now I want to make sure that we at least have the data that we need, basically. In both shaders, so there's no like weirdness going on. So we'll test and improve later. Okay, so we have that. Copy. So that should be our... That's in the fragment shader. Yeah, a lot of this might be just overcautiousness, but yeah, don't want to make a mistake. That's all. And then be like stuck trying to, because I was trying to be too smart. Like, oh, this should have worked, and it didn't. Okay, so that should be the shaders. They should compile. Okay. As far as I can tell... Oh, no. This won't run, but it might... The shaders probably will compile. I just need to get rid of the... For the skybox, I need to remove some... Oh, no, I did. Okay. The other thing I need to remove is... the uniform buffer, because we're allocating stuff we don't want to allocate now. Because that's quite expensive. Well, it's not expensive, it's just a tiny little buffer that we're allocating over and over again unnecessarily. Get rid of this. Don't know why this is there. Okay. I'll build just to see the shader output. Oh, yeah, we need the extensions. And we're using your stream to actually learn to solve real problems. Hey, love that. I'm only watching because I don't want to work on my cache system. All right, right. I get it. No, I seriously get it. Sometimes I do the same. Like, I was watching Deo Man. He's a speedrunner. He speedruns Spyro. And I was like, I could go to bed right now, but I don't want to. Or I could study synchronization, but I could watch this instead. Where is the... There it is. Went over it twice. Okay, and okay, got the extensions in. They compile, fantastic. Okay, so hopefully the validation errors tell us what's gonna go wrong. Ooh. Huh, what? Internal error, GPU AVI is... What? I think I kind of know what's going on there. Oh, hang on, we didn't even do what we're supposed to. Okay, so I completely forgot what we're supposed to do here. I think I also know why that happened, but we didn't even finish our shader work. Okay, so mat4 equals view project, and then very simply we're just going to take our column major, just column row, set this to 0, 1, 2, 3, and for this one we set this to 1. So this, if you don't know, just removes the translation, and then we actually use that here instead. Cool. That was actually the point of doing all this, so... And, right, okay, so it didn't work. And I think we're doing the copying outside of a graphics pipeline bind, which I think caused everything to go wrong. That's my suspicion. So the only thing that we did that was particularly bad, that, well, I think that could go wrong in that particular type of way anyway, is this. So I wasn't quite sure if we needed to do basically that, right? And let's just make sure that we are doing everything we need to. The push constant is always updated here. It's possible that we need to update the push constants every single this scene address as well, but I'll try to get this working. I'm just going over making sure that the actual thing that we've created is getting values that make sense, basically. And this is definitely the same thing. Yep. Okay. Let's give that another whirl. It's an interesting error. I've never seen that before. Huh. Yeah, I'm beating up my graphics card pretty bad. Internal error, GPAV is disabled. Failed to submit per submission command buffer. So I'm messing up the command buffer, I think. Or where's the push constants created? I hope that... Am I still streaming? I've just crashed the graphics card a couple of times. Yes. Sure. So let me read that in detail. Can you explain what exactly you are doing? Sorry, can you explain what exactly you are making in simple terms? A month ago I just spam random words on your comment section, and you replied with something I didn't understand. Okay, sure. I don't remember those comments. So, okay, from the beginning, I guess. I'm trying to make a game in Vulkan and C++. Let me think. Yeah, thank you for staying still here. Thank you, Maddo. That is appreciated. I'm trying to do this without a game engine. And if you don't know what a game engine is, just in case, it is a piece of software that is used to drive video games. So, very common game engines that are out now are Unreal Engine. And this is just an engine that drives the game. So I'm basically making my own engine, right? So when it comes to this engine, at the moment, I'm letting the game drive the technology I'm trying to make. So for example, if I'm making a 2D game, I don't need to make a 3D renderer, right? That's a very simple idea, but it's like important because all these commercial game engines have both a 2D and a 3D renderer that can both do these types of games, making them very generic. If you're making your own game engine, you can just say, I don't want a 3D renderer, assuming you're making a 2D game. I don't want a 3D renderer. I can throw that out. And just in case I don't exactly know your familiarity, a renderer is just something that displays graphics. That's all it does, right? It just writes graphics to the monitor, and then you can do some things like that. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simplify my engine. This is the general idea that I've been going over for many streams. And in the spirit of what I said before about letting the game drive the engine, which is, what type of technology I'm going to make, a lot of the things I'm doing are very focused on that, right? So I want to make a little space game, and there's going to be asteroids in this game. Which means, for example, I'd turn off gravity, right? Because that would make no sense if you're flying around a spaceship and there's gravity, right? Like you're on Earth. Like gravity does exist in space, I am aware. But like in game physics, like it would try to simulate Earth gravity, which would be incorrect. It would be really strange if you're flying around in space. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to simplify things so it's much easier to add gameplay features and little mechanics and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers generally what you like the general overview of what I'm trying to achieve here. If you don't understand bits and bobs, please just continue to ask questions about things. I will be now rambling about Vulkan. So Vulkan, just so you know, is just a graphics API. We have to be very concerned with Vulkan. Because graphics typically, for most games, if not all of them, in the modern era that are 3D, are the most expensive part of... oh, hang on. Oh no, sorry, I kind of tripped up there. Are the most expensive part of any game, so... a lot of what I'm trying to do is get Vulkan, which is the graphics again, to do what I want in an efficient way. And yeah, thanks for turning up, and thanks for asking a question, by the way. Hopefully that explains stuff. Right, so I'm breaking my graphics card. I need to be careful. I could get kicked off stream if I carry on. I don't exactly know what is going on. So... okay, cool. I'm glad you got it, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind explaining stuff because it helps me think through things, and that can help me program things faster. Even if people are saying like, "Why are you using a game engine?" That helps me like reinforce some ideas that why I'm using a game engine, for example. And it keeps me on track, right? It's very easy for people who are making game engines to go off the rails and make something that's not necessary. Trust me, I've been there. Let's see. So I'm breaking this in a particular way I do not understand, to be honest. Are you writing to the GPU's BIOS by mistake? No, what's crashing is the graphics driver. So I'm crashing the graphics driver. So it's not like the actual GPU legit hardware is like resetting, because then I would be kicked off stream. Because it would freak out Windows, and it would maybe even get a blue screen of death. But my graphics driver is struggling with what I'm trying to do for some reason. So it's possible that I'm writing into bad memory, But what I don't understand is maybe I haven't even created the buffer. Where is this buffer actually created? Okay, no. That's the actual, sorry, that's the data. Okay, so it's here. Okay, cool. I've had like 2 BSODs, blue screen of death, due to bad buffer device access, yeah, with NVIDIA. Yeah, their recovery stuff. There's recovery after device loss. Is very cool. Yeah, it's basically what we're... I don't know if you can see this error ratchet, but we're getting like this weird internal error. I don't think... And it's I can hear the music for me drop out, which means I have to be careful. I'm crashing the graphics card. Oh really? You get AMD locking up. Oof. I guess that's just drivers for you. So I don't know. So push constants. Also, where is this created? Let's just see. That's what I want. Okay, so it's here. It's got 3 things in it. Oops. Oh, yeah. I'm also a CS major, but don't know much about these system coding stuff. And due to this AI, I think I'm also forgetting normal web dev. And due to this AI, yeah, that's what Ratchet says. Interesting. Be careful with AI. It's I think someone succinctly put it. It can often increase the output of your. It can increase the quality of your product, but it can decrease your quality to. It decreases your skill over time if you use it too extensively. So yeah, you might be able to make a thing or write an essay or whatever, but your ability to do those things decreases with more heavy AI usage. I'm not going to tell you to do this and that, but I'm just saying, just be aware that that's happening if you use it extensively. That might be why you've forgotten some stuff if you're using AI extensively for web dev. Right, okay, what I'm going to do is comment out the skybox and put this back and just see if it crashes. Put this back under the cube pipeline and just like throw it here. And hopefully we don't crash it, but I'm going to see if... Is it the skybox itself? Yeah, use it as a search in. Yeah, that's a good use for it. Another use is good to quiz yourself on stuff if you want to actually improve your skill. Okay. Right, we're going to have to take a step back here. We have broken stuff. So I'm just going to press Control Z a bunch until I think we're back to where we were. So yeah, we're going to have to add a bunch of random stuff back in. Oh. What did I do here? Okay, that's fine. I think I'm going to go that far back. I just comment out the skybox again, because that's not going to work. Guaranteed. But I just want to make sure it's not... we haven't got memory graphics corruption again. That is... Resource type not support. Oh, okay. So we're trying to create a descriptor set with a piece of memory that doesn't exist, I think. Yeah. So this... Interesting. Okay, let's press Control Z a bit more. Okay, that's what I wanted to put that back. We've got to be very careful with this, it looks like. And again, comment this out. I might even comment out all the creation of the skybox anyway. I think we're going to get the same issue, to be honest. Yep. Dear. I should have pushed. I always regret not pushing. Committing my code, and I'm like, ugh. There's so much good stuff, I can't just git stash now. Never mind. Okay. So anything skybox related, we're just going to get rid of. Just for ease. Yeah, this is something I struggled with at work where I'd not commit enough. I think my my bosses would think that I'm not working very hard, but I would often just leave commit. I wouldn't commit for ages and ages and ages, and then commit like a massive load of work all at once because I wanted it to be done. There is a downside to that. If you're ever working in corporate, just so you're aware, you're increasing the likelihood that your work gets overwritten if you do that. So don't do that. Actually commit your work pretty frequently in a commercial environment. Because let's say Joe Schmo like decides to rewrite a component that you're trying to fix, then your fix is completely irrelevant now. That happened a lot. It was quite frustrating. Okay. Okay, yeah, there's probably just a vertex. Why is the skybox still there? I don't want to skybox anything. Also wouldn't help. Skybox pipeline. That's why we didn't delete the pipeline. Oops. So yeah, this is a bit of a debug session. A bit more than I expected. But never mind. And yeah, I completely missed everything here. Yeah, cool. Just want to absolutely rule that out in every single way and get rid of all the validation errors because I just want to chest this one thing. Don't care about skybox at the moment. Okay, we don't get memory corruption. Okay, that's it. That's important. Sorry, graphics corruption. Memory corruption is not quite the same. So, for those who are wondering what's graphics corruption is when... I guess I can just throw this in here real quick. Hopefully this doesn't cause flashing, but you'll see it. Okay, we just got nothing rendered. That's a graphics corruption as well. I expected more, but there we are. I expected fireworks and explosions, but everyone going insane. Anyway, so we only care about material for now. We do want a descriptor set. We do want all this. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do what I said, actually. I'm gonna push this because we have done a bunch of work. I'm gonna leave this all commented out for a minute. And yeah, git status just so I have something to fall back on, because we actually have made a bunch of progress here. Completely broken skybox, but cleaned up the debug renderer and the regular renderer. Alright. Push. Hey, small question. Can you tell me something about coding? I'm very confused. What should be a proper path to understand codes and code it like you? Can you tell me something about coding? Okay, I'm going to ask the second part. I can tell you some random thing about coding, but that's not what you meant. So I'm going to try and refer to the second part of that sentence. What should be a proper path to understanding codes and code it like you? So if you want to do game development or game engine development. Oh, actually, I'm not able to frame the question. I'm stuck in my journey. I didn't understand what to do now. I'm doing everything MI, web dev, data structures and algorithms, and leaving everything in the middle. Oh, I see. So you're struggling with like direction. So it's difficult. I'm not entirely sure. Like people, there's a lot of things I could say about what you should learn and what you shouldn't learn when it comes to becoming a good programmer. A lot of the things that I'm going to say, or might say, are things I'm still doing myself, right? I'm not complete. I'm not also just like a genius programmer. You'll find if you watch long enough that I'm struggling with a lot of different things that maybe are simple and basic and, I shouldn't be struggling with or whatever. So, that being said, pick something that you actually want to learn. I know it seems silly, but like, you can get hung up on like people on the internet telling you that you need to learn machine learning, for example, because that's what gives you the most money. And that can be a path to just getting really miserable, basically. If that's something you don't actually want to do. ML, okay, yeah. So, like, people tell, oh, machine learning's the future, do machine learning. But, like, if you like video games and you want to code video games, like, you're not going to have a good time in a field of machine learning, even if you get there, if you didn't even want to do it in the first place. So that would be my first thing to orientate what you actually learn, would be to pick something you actually really care about. The side effect of that is you're going to put more time in and get good anyway. If you just want to get good in general, for me, I would say, based on what you want to learn your language really well. That's never ever going to be a downside. You're going to get less frustrated over time if you know your programming language. So that typically means sticking to one programming language based on what you want to learn. For example, if you don't want to do web development, like if you get really good at JavaScript, just plain JavaScript, and you can do stuff that, you don't get confused, you know what the DOM is, etc., and all that kind of thing. And all the in-depth stuff with JavaScript. That's going to help you a ton when you go to use a API. Like React, I think, is an API. I'm not a web programmer. I'm just trying to use something that's relatable that you've said. A lot of it, and then on top of that, a lot of it's mental, right? Like a lot of it is a battle to stay consistent, not get disillusioned, and persistent when things get tough. Sometimes programming is not fun, and you just have to accept that you have to sometimes just do what you don't want to do to be a good programmer. So that's my general advice for anyone who's like a bit lost and directionless. Like learning, like going on leak coding in DSA, for example, like endlessly for no reason, just because someone told you on the internet, or that you need to do that for a job or guess or whatever, can just be like quite. It can just make you miserable. That's all. If it's not something you want to do in the first place. Yeah, and like code projects that are fun, like You'll just get better if you do that, in my opinion. So hopefully that kind of helps. Yeah, one solid language, 100%. Yeah, I agree with what everyone's saying in the chat. So if you're interested in game development, I recommend like One Lone Coder. If you type his name in, you can see if you're actually interested. Do some of his early projects on his YouTube channel. See if you can, like, there's like 45-minute long videos, like how to code Tetris in ASCII, right? So just text. It's like, if you enjoy the process of going through that and making a game, that might be something you want to pursue. So that might be like learning C++ and all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in web development, I don't exactly know the resources for you specifically, but yeah, that's what I would target. I would target a thing that you want to do and then get good at it. Get good at the language, and then stay consistent. Pick little projects like One Lone Coder, for example, and keep progressing. Don't jump from one language to another. Forget everything in all of them. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Obviously, meant that as a joke, but that's something that a lot of people do. You know. And that basically is like spinning your wheels in the mud. Alright, okay, so let's see if I can bring this back without destroying everything. Okay, so I need to fix this. This was broken from the start. Okay. Do this. Go to that. Like a grasshopper only stick to two. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like I'm pretty weak when it comes to like my C++ standard knowledge because I don't use it. But you know, I have to learn Vulkan, so I spend a lot of my time studying Vulkan and stuff. Yeah, I do understand it's tough though. I mean, it's easy for me to say sometimes. This is one thing it's important for me to recognize at least. Because I've been programming so long, like I don't have the same struggles as some other people. So I am aware that, you know, it can be easy for me to be like, yeah, just do this. But I still think my advice is good. I'm just recognizing that it can be difficult for beginners when they're told 1,000 different things from 1,000 different people. Panic about this, worry about that, etc. And it's like, well, I just want to get good at this programming thing, and it's just difficult. It's just difficult to know what to do. Whereas for me, I just need to continue on what I'm doing, although that's difficult in its own way. But like I said, I'm aware that it's tough. But hopefully this stream is like a good way for people who are interested to find their shining star or whatever. But again, and also finally, final thing, I will stop. I'm also doing this myself. I'm still learning. I'm still I still don't feel very good at this. You know, and that's not me trying to be fake humble or something like that. So I can seem more relatable, like for real. That's how I feel. Like there are people I see online that are just so much better than me at this. So yeah, I'm also executing the same advice that I'm giving out. Okay, I'm going to try again and pray that we don't destroy everything. Ah, I did it again. No, stop. Okay, let's just check everything's like allocated properly. I think my graphics drive is up to date, yeah. So at least we have that going for us. So we do want a material buffer. We do want the uniform buffer. We have the layout, which is fine because everything else is the same like that. That's why I don't understand. Like, why is this like completely destroying itself? Hang on. I wonder if. I have a sneaking suspicion that if I move this back, we should be safe again. Although we're going to have to move the skybox again. Again. Yeah, okay, so put this here. Oh, let's not take the skybox code with me. Let's put that back. Very annoying. Fortunately, Visual Studios does have a you were doing this prior, which is nice. Alright, cool. Oh, we need to comment this out as well. Completely. Alright, so let's see. So we have a graphics pipeline we're not using. Okay, good. Okay, we don't have memory corruption. And we have. Do we have no lighting? Okay, we do. Okay, it's just over here. It's very small. Okay, so I'm just trying to delete a buffer that doesn't exist. Ignore that. That's it. Very easy to fix. Okay, so it is the skybox specifically that's not working. So the next thing I want to try is pulling out the thing we just put back and see if it needs to be in this particular place to actually work. So so I want to kind of put it outside of any graphics pipeline, if that's even possible, based on pipeline graphics pipeline state. No, it's good. It's good. Right. Okay. So it's just how we're using. Again, we can ignore that. I probably should clean that up, to be honest, because I'll keep forgetting. Okay. So material. Oh, I commented out the wrong thing. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna fix the playlist. Hang on. It's currently. It's sometimes YouTube just loops the same like 3 songs over and over again in a big enough playlist. So I just had to fix this every stream, and also I have to keep retelling people so people are like, people know what I'm doing. All right, cool. Right. Oh, my nose is so itchy. I think the hay fever. I think I've like grown to get hay fever over the years, which is annoying. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna try adding in very simple commands. So we don't need this at all. So that's a state change. There's no action command here. We don't want this at all. So the actual Yep. So the data is here. Let me copy via VMA, which is fine. That worked before. We have a push constant. Now, I'm just going to make sure that yeah, it's okay. We've created the vertex shader, push constants. What I could do is just set the values to something. I don't know if that's going to help. So when I create this, I could be like, so vertex position. Ooh, I wonder if. Come on, hell, work with me here. So obviously that's going to be just. Because these are pointers. Sorry, these are numbers. So 0 should work completely fine. Okay, so we're actually going to be passing over data that isn't junk. In those two components, we bind the descriptor sets. Why are we doing a bindless texture here? Oh yeah, okay. We are accessing bindless textures. We're drawing 36 vertices on the CP inside the shader. Okay. Right. So my question is, does it break immediately? Does it break in one, like all at once? Is it the second, third loop? Is it the recording of the draw call? I don't know. So, nope. So, I pressed F5. I think. I don't know. Something's frozen. No, we keep. Interesting. All right. So obviously, clearly, the buffer device address is not working. Oh, Visual Studio's crashed. Interesting. Thanks to you in chat. One last question about projects. When do I build a project? And often I stuck somewhere with small features. Then I search on the internet. Then that AI gives me the exact code and implement that feature, so I get confused. Did I learn something? No, you didn't. I can answer that very quickly. Yes, I understand that code is... Yes, I understand that code, but what's the point of making the project if I didn't use the internet? I'd be totally stuck. I would say this is the part... You know I said be persistent? This is the thing you need to be persistent about. Learning happens in the struggle. So when it's uncomfortable, when it's hard, and you're feeling like, oh, this is difficult, that's when you're actually learning, not when you complete the project. That has nothing to do with learning. The project is just kind of like a way to learn. And if you're using AI or copying pasting code from Stack Overflow, which is what I used to do, I guess, back in the day, you're not learning anything, I don't think, if your only goal is to finish the project. This is why I say you should really stick to the basics and like learn your language really well, depending on whatever project you're doing / wanting to do. The more you know your language, the less you're going to be hung up on small details that are going to trip you up, that are just going to cause frustration. So that's the whole point of that. And you need to allow yourself to not do projects for a bit to build that foundational layer. And the next question is obvious, like, oh, when can I build projects? I don't know. right? One, it depends on what you're doing, and two, you could be a really fast learner that has 7 hours a day to study something. Or not at all, right? I don't know. But if you're a CS student, I would just say for now, you have the space, assuming that you're not in work, to ignore what everyone else is doing, like all your classmates that are cheating. And just say, I want to get skilled, I don't want to pass the class. That would be my personal... If I was to transport to your position, it's not about getting the highest grade, it's about getting skilled. And that requires struggle, persistence when things get hard, and not to use AI to basically do the code for you, because you're not coding when you do that. Even if the people tell you otherwise, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a tough landscape out there to learn to code. Oh, come on, what is going on? I do not understand this. See, I'm getting frustrated right now, but this is like how I'm gonna learn, right? It's not like I'm like slamming my fists into the desk and stuff like that, but you know, if I just went to ChatGPT or Claude or something and just said, why is the driver crashing when I'm trying to access this buffer device address, and it just gave me the answer. Like, next time something bad happens like this, I won't know how to fix it, because I'll continuously start to rely on AI, and eventually it will stop working, and then I'm screwed. That's the long-term use of AI. That's what ends up happening. You don't get the skills to actually learn to resolve this problem. At these type of problems. And that's true at the beginner level to a super advanced master level. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about university. I don't really have strong opinions on that, or any like valid opinion. What if this? I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to do this for each shader. I think that's what's gonna have to happen. So, as far as I'm understanding this, the buffer device address is like, I don't think it's global to every single shader or every single graphics pipeline. Even if the, what is it called? Push constants has the same pointers in. Yeah, skills matter 100%. That's, yeah. Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it. I have a lot of motivation to be getting skilled, like, because I just think, like, you know, instead of relying on AI, I could just be better than AI, for example. Screw it. And for the most part, I am. Who needs AI when you're better? Oh. Interesting. I'm uploading it twice. Oh. Okay. No, this was always here. I remember. Alright, we'll do it for every pipeline. And we'll just see if that... Yeah, technical and soft. For sure, for sure. Huh. Right, yeah, I'm just gonna just name these 0, 1, 2, 3, I think. Oops. 0. So when we actually do this, we are good. That's the 3 things I care about. And then 2. Oh. Am I in a debug renderer? Fine. Whoops. Okay, that's 0 and... Where's the original? Or the first one? Fine, that's fine. So we have that. We have 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, and then we have 1, 1, 1. Oh, yeah, we need to change these as well. Okay, so I do actually need to change this because otherwise it's going to be very easy to make a mistake. So I'll change this to sky, I guess. Sky, sky, sky. That's all I... So now the errors should come through if I see them. Let's just make sure this doesn't exist. Yep. Do I need to allocate after I've assigned the buffer? No, I don't think so. Yeah, okay, we're good. And for this one, we are... Alright. I think uni should not teach CS, industry should. Because it's better than uni. Yeah, I think like a lot of universities just generally can't teach anything. Oops, I'm pressing F5. I think I'm hard crashing again. Okay. Okay, this is good. This is the reason we set up git stash. We did a commit. Let's start again. Right. Because I think I want to fix something that I think was completely broken before. So the skybox has been broken anyway, but now I've started to change it. It shows how broken it is. Which is this. I'm doing this twice. Or am I? No, I'm not. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, I do not understand what's going on. Yeah, I'm just allocating it. And when I move this, put this here, it's fine, as far as I can tell. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to worry about that again. Okay, I'm just going to do this. This is really simple. Oh, yeah, that's been deleted. Gotta make that as well. So all I'm gonna do is switch pipelines and not do anything on that pipeline. Switch out again, see if that crashes it. So this is the most simple thing that you can do. So it better not crash. I haven't touched anything else. Cool. All right. Cool. Thanks for the advice. I feel like I've been talking too much about this, so I'm gonna try and focus on my coding just for a bit longer. Sorry. Fine. I'll read it, but I won't read it out loud. But then I use ChatGPT. Yeah. Don't use AI. Then what should I have done at that time instead of ChatGPT? Well, it depends on, you were trying to do back-end stuff. Maybe the project was outside of the scope of your skills because you've been using ChatGPT all the way up to that point. Which is a harsh truth. Sometimes people have to recognize that they've kind of hurt their education. Like there are people, for example, there's a YouTuber who's interviewed people after the 3rd and 2nd year of university called Coding Jesus, and they absolutely know nothing, and that's why they're struggling. I would not want to be one of those people. Yeah, I'm just going to slowly add stuff in that's not going to actually draw. Can we allocate this? Oops, that won't work. Because I've broken this ever since it's... Okay. Okay, so if it's this, then we know. It's not useless, I just need to... it's my own fault for... If there's something I'm saying that's making you feel bad or something like that, because I'm just like saying, I'm going to focus on this. It's my fault for talking too much. It's not your fault for me talking too much. It's always my fault. If I'm on... Yeah, so... yeah, don't worry, it's fine. I do want to show you this though. I will. Sorry guys. I know this is a bit rambly session. But this is like a good wake-up call for people who are terrible at coding in university. I wouldn't. You don't have to do his program, by the way. I think of like these videos around here are his best, in my opinion. ChatGPT ruined a generation of programmers. I would highly recommend watching this video and just see if this fits. In your own time. You don't. Yeah. This is someone who completely used ChatGPT, went to try and be interviewed by this YouTuber, and he couldn't even answer the most basic Python questions. He didn't know anything, and it was a good wake-up call for him. And if that's your situation, I would be, hopefully you can recognize that you also need to. But you don't have to use this course, by the way. Don't feel self-conscious enough that you need to use this course. What you need to do is, like what I said, study the language, that like Python, for example. Learn the back-end technologies. Leave projects alone. Study really, really hard. Forget doing projects and copying and using AI. And then you'll be on the path to progress. You'll be progressing at that point. You know what I could be doing wrong this whole time? I might not be doing that. Hang on. Okay, I think we're this is good. This is good. Now, can I bind the descriptor sets? Okay, I've got to make the descriptor sets. I think I figured out what's going on. Sorry, it's taken us so long. Some things are just like this. Some days are just like... But this will be good because it will have fixed so many issues. And simplified everything down, so... I think we're good. Alright. Come on, don't crash. I'm not even drawing, so please don't. Okay, it's not going crazy. That's just an error of me not deleting things, nothing to worry about. And okay, here's the truth. Can we draw without everything blowing up? Right. Pray to the coding gods, please don't break. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, so we know it's in the shaders then. It's nothing to do with the pipeline state. So I broke then because the graphics card's starting to crash. So I'm going to go in those shaders and just try and work out what the hell's going on. So it's actually to do with this stuff. I'm kind of nervous about this idea that I've just added. Because it's really fragile, this... So maybe I was wrong. It just kind of worked on a fluke. I'm just going to add these back in. And obviously add the structs. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not... I'm definitely using a local variable here. I'm not doing anything stupid. As far, well, I am, but I don't know what it is. It's not stupid there, at least. Okay, so... Annoyingly, we've got to add the buffer of thingies back in. Which is fine. I will throw these in. And put these here. And obviously add the structs in, but I'm just going to add dummy structs with nothing in. Vertices. Oops. And model position. Float pad, just to have something in there so it doesn't cry. Float pad, and copy all this, put it in the fragment shader as well. Oh, okay, let's do that. And because we're not, never going to access this, this needs to be here so I can see it. Now let's just make sure the push constant is the right way around because this is important. Yes. Okay. Now it's not in the fragment shader, but I'm kind of like gonna ignore that for a minute. Right. Okay, yeah, it's what I thought it was then. Yeah, let me fix that then. Unfortunately, this is a resource, so it's a descriptor set slash buffer slash anything like that. So we fixed it, so we aren't crashing now, but unfortunately we are going to... We can't do what I wanted, basically. And that's why things broke for so long. There we go, that should be it. As far as I can tell, at least. Let's see. So, right, cool. We are good. We have the skybox texture is not working. That's fine. That never worked. I think now I'm kind of concerned about the fragment shader though. Okay, I'm going to try a couple of different things. Right, we know it's working, so we have a baseline. Does this work? If I delete these. Does that work? Or does it break? Okay, that works. Interesting. So it's the vertex shader that needs everything in it? Strangely. Because if I get rid of these and these two, it completely nukes the graphics card, as far as I can tell. Yeah. So that breaks the graphics card on the vertex shader for some reason. Ooh. Oh dear. Okay, so my whole screen went black. Let's just make sure we're streaming. End stream button still there. Looks like we're still good. Let's go to YouTube. Stream health. Excellent. Okay, cool. We're not completely... We didn't completely destroy everything. Okay, so interestingly enough that... We can get rid of this. Should add everything back in that made it work. Okay. The push constants... I have a... One more time. I've just got to make sure I haven't... No, that's not going to work. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's everything. Yeah. Okay. Still here. Brilliant. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So there might be a GSet on the line stream, but that was just me crashing everything. And I don't know where the light is over here. It's a bit strange. Okay, so the fragment shader's light's in the wrong place. Okay, so yeah, this is not working properly in any shader. I have a feeling that if we put this in the fragment shader, although it looks like it's working, it's not. We're getting false results here. This is a subtlety that I did not see coming. Holy, it's subtle. So let's grab... No, that's not good. This is some... I am aware that my GLSL knowledge is not very strong. My shader knowledge in general, because there's some kind of like memory stuff that's happening here that I don't quite get. But it's, you know, there's like 1,000 things I don't quite get. So let's have a look. I reckon that's going to fix the position of the light. So it should be where I am. Yep, you see that? The light's where I am, literally. So it's... See when I move? Okay, the direction of the light's wrong, but it's updating where I move. Which is actually what it should have been doing this whole time. Because, you know, you're going to be flying in a spaceship and you're in space. You need to be able to see where you're going. So yeah, the direction isn't quite right, but... So when I say direction, I mean like where it hits the object this is not right. It's like this should be light here and it's not. But generally speaking, the light is where we are. And we can actually see the rocks as we fly through the black void that is the space with no stars. Cool, yeah. Glad I could help, dude. This might be a dumb question. No dumb questions here, dude. But how do you deal with staging buffers? Do you do it in the main loop or somewhere else? It depends what I'm transferring. So I do staging buffers for textures, for example, and that has to happen on load time. I deal with staging buffers like any other tutorial code. I basically set up a buffer, then do the transfer between one buffer to another buffer. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you want to making sure, if you're not sure when to do it, is like, for example, textures. Do you need to be loading the staging buffers every single frame for one texture that you're going to use in a shader? No. Are you going to be doing that for a staging? Are you going to be doing that for descriptor sets and uniform buffer objects? No, because that's just data that you're pushing straight to the shader, so that can be done beforehand. So that's the staging buffers are basically a setup stage for anything. So when you create a buffer, you can just pretty much, you know, decide when and where to do it based on that. Hopefully that's a bit clear. I probably could explain that better, but it depends on the staging buffer, because it depends on what buffer you're trying to do anything with, alright? So if I had a staging buffer that's textures, and I had a staging buffer that's just a buffer that's going to be updated every frame, I don't know, for some reason, then maybe I would need a staging buffer, but for now I don't need staging buffers at all in my main loop. But I haven't come across a point where I'd need them. So yeah, just think about where you're setting things up, and then that's where you put your staging buffer. Yeah. That's my general understanding, but I'm not like perfectly, I'm not like super, I'm still learning. What I'm saying is I'm still learning, like everyone else. So, you know, if anyone in chat has an actual example of when you use the staging buffer in a main loop, you know, please fill the guy in, because I can't think of one off the top of my head that I would do. No idea, by the way, but there was a problem. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're referring to him. No problem. Right. Okay. So, where are we going to go next? I think we can push this up. Oh, I haven't done this in a. I haven't put anything here. Do I care though? The final color is literally just final color equals color. Right? I can get rid of that. That never worked. I think we can push this code. This is stable. Oh, yeah. That. Yeah, the final color needs to be outputted. So v color equals final color. No, out color equals v color. There we go. That's the actual piece of code we need. I'm pretty new to Vulkan. Yeah, a lot of people are in chat, so you know it's there's no dumb questions. I've been going for a while now, but I'm still learning as I go. So yeah, I don't really like the way the direction. I think my eye is wrong. Yeah. So the eye in the BRDF and light tells us where things are, where the light should be. I think my eye is wrong. My position's fine. And I think my eye is wrong. So eye is just like like what the camera's looking at. The position is just where the camera is. And based on those two calculations, you start doing the BRDF. So you start constructing the BRDF, which is used in physically based rendering. Which I'm very weak on, by the way. I haven't done that in a while. That's why I think we're getting like. I don't think it knows which, like I think my camera, I think the, yeah, so if I go up here, for example, and, oh no, wait, I can't quite put my finger on, like, the lighting just feels off. Like, why is it dark here now? I don't know. Can you extend your streams to 3 or 4 hours? Yeah, I think my eye is offset. I think you're right. I think we'll look at it in a minute anyway. Why do you need my stream to come for 3 to 4 hours? 3 to 4 hours. I'll typically just stream until I can't anymore. Basically, I start at a reasonable time because there's other people where I live, so I don't want to stream all day and annoy them, because they can basically hear everything I'm saying. And I think that would get on people's nerves. So I try to keep it like a decent length, that it's not too short, not too long. Anyway, so we have removed the local constants buffer as an effort. to... Oh, so you can keep learning. That's nice. That's appreciate that. Yeah, I'll look into the eye offset in a minute, and just see the eye direction. It might be fine. I just get a bad feeling that we're not quite. That what we're looking at is wrong. Anyway, remove the local classes as an effort to move to bindless. So if you actually want to look at this project for anyone who's like new, it should be in the description of this live stream, under the void. We are currently the void project. We're currently on the space branch. I am merging my changes into master, but the most up-to-date things will be in space. Although it's not too different from master at the moment, because I had so many fixes that I had to fix. I had to port over to master. Okay. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff I need to delete. A bunch of commented out stiff. I won't push again. There's no point, but this is just for another push. Yep, we don't want this. What else? We don't want this. And yes. Okay, so we vastly simplified the use of data while also increasing the size of the buffers. I'm a bit disappointed that I can't just have a push constant with less data in, but I guess the struct that we're pushing up to the... We have a struct with 24 bytes in. And if we only have 8 bytes to receive that, I think it just overwrites stuff and it just goes wrong. In fact, we can actually simplify this if we're not going to use it. It's actually quite simple. We use that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need to fix this. I didn't quite get that all in. Let's just do this. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so entities. Yeah, don't forget they have to use the kitchen at some point. Basically, yeah. Yeah, I'd be coding in the kitchen, like for real. Yep, side is the food smells nice in here, so yeah. If we're not using any of the data in here, why do we even have it in here? I think this is even better if we can get rid of all of it. If everything breaks, we know why. But I think because we're not using the push constants, we don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Cool. Right. For the people who are watching, I'm gonna invite you to my... Oh, not on this laptop. It doesn't let me do it on this computer even. I'm going to give you an invite to my Discord server. If you're interested in joining, feel free. Here is the link. Should be 7 days. You should be able to get in. Anyone's allowed to join if you're chill. We're all here to learn. So if you are interested in Vulkan, it's a good place to get some good resources and stuff. So that being said, I'm going to have to leave it here, guys. Yeah, there are other people here that that I need to be courteous of, which is totally chill to me. Hopefully everyone's had a great stream. I feel like I've cleaned up. I've learned some things. Hopefully I wasn't too preachy in this stream. Appreciate everyone who watched, and honestly, it's been a great great experience as usual. Thank you very much for everyone and everyone. So yeah, I will see you all soon. I hope you all have a great Saturday. Keep learning and keep on going, guys. Wish you all the best. Right. Yeah. See you guys.